In the scriptures, it warns us not to use judgment in return for a reward. And this is just reoccurring. It occurs in Micah chapter 3, verse 11, and it also occurs at the beginning of Micah chapter 7. So, accepting a bribe, we call it a bribe. You take a reward for your judgment. You say, if you give me something, I'll give you something. So it's quid pro quo. Now, that falls in line for us when it says never follow a multitude to do evil, because by joining the multitude, your reward is this acceptance into a crowd. And that is in the Old Testament and follows on at the New Testament, when Jesus says, few shall find the narrow way. And it says that many go into the broad gate of destruction, and few will go in the straight gate, which is the way of righteousness. And just as in Noah, only 8 were saved in the deluge. Now, we have to learn not to accept rewards. I taught my kid a lesson, and I told him, you want to see me remote control the dog? And we went, and I had them hold each side of the plastic, my son and my daughter, and I put bacon into the middle of it. And I said, this is how people control people. They've done science experiments where they realize that if you hold little pieces of candy over a kid's head, like the carrot on the stick in the classroom, of course they're not that open about it though. They're very sneaky, right? It's scandalous. It's teaching your kids to be the kind of person you don't want them to be. So what they do is they have candy, and they've done these experiments that show kids will start salviating because they know that the teachers are going to give them a piece of candy if they get it right. But only the favored few are going to get the candy. It gives the other people in the classroom the idea of wait your turn. Wait, your turn is coming, right? Promotions, your turn is coming. And then they're only giving it to a few favored few who actually have like connections, and they're inside of the network in the pyramid, and they're rubbing all the right people the right way, right? And they're, giving the right people Christmas cards and giving the right people a good feeling like you're adding value to them in this multitude, the social hierarchy, right? So what it explains is not to be like that. So, like I said, Micah 3, Micah 7, it talks about how they do judgment for reward. It says the heads, they teach for hire, and the judges judge for reward, and the prophets divine for money. And there we have Cain, Korah, Diotrephes, and so Cain, Korah, Diotrephes, and Balaam, right? Balaam, he was a byword for teaching for hire, like Jude 1. Jude 1 talks about this, and so does, I believe it's 2 Peter chapter 2. It might be 1 Peter chapter 2, but either one of those are just, one of those, I can't remember which one right offhand, are the exact same as Jude, and it says, like, there shall be false prophets in those days. Let me see, I'll find it for you. Sorry. I have a Bible right here, so in 2 Peter chapter 2, I believe it is. Let me see. 2 Peter. Yes, but there was false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying Jesus that bought them with his blood, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways. They're going to follow their bad ways and their evil little backbiting slander and taking rewards from the multitude and judging for money and divining for money and wanting rewards. And we teach our kids that. We allow them to go to school, and school teaches our kids that. So, and through covetousness, wanting more and more and more and more, shall they with feigned words, hello, brother, this is I have the best thing in the world for you. If you'd like, can I buy you some coffee? Come sit down with me and talk. I have this new program that I'm trying to implement, and if I could get you on side with me, that would be awesome. We're actually having Thanksgiving dinner this weekend. Come over and have Thanksgiving dinner with us, and that kind of thing. Feigned words will make merchandise of you. Emporium. Emporium, we have that word. This is actually the Greek word there. Sorry, my nose is itching. So in the emporium, you lay out all your goods. It's like the flea market, or kind of like the way that the inside of like a Walmart or United is structured, with all the goods out. Through feigned words, they lay people out like an emporium to take money from them. Make merchandise of you so they can have material gain, avariciousness, that miserable desire for gain is avarice, and that's what the love of money is. And you shine and you project yourself and you have your name in the sky. That is what people do. They even manifest that when they sit behind a pulpit with a big crowd that's assembled around them, just to hear what they have to say, not to participate. It renders the body of Christ, the alleged body of Christ, or the possible body of Christ, useless. They just sit there. They don't participate. They don't do anything. And they get into a habit, a tradition. And that's how you control them in the institutions, right? Habit, tradition, get them sitting down. It's what keeps the miners locked inside of their dark labyrinth, while other people are taking rewards to do judgment for them. And then they use the bureaucracy, right? They won't let anybody penetrate the bureaucracy, while money's being under the table, and cards under the table, and rewards and promotions under the table. And that's where bureau comes from, wood. So under the desk, the pulpit, right? And the soapbox, they would stand on their product in the railroad yards and say, hey, this soap will cure gout. The snake oil salesman. So what happens is we teach our kids that. A dog is a great way of explaining this, because you put them on a chain, you get them used to the chain, right? Get them used to the yoke, get them used to the collar. We got to get them used to it, right? And we'll get them to sit for a piece of bacon. We get them to lay down and roll over, right? Wait your turn. Well, that's not how Jesus taught us to live. Jesus taught us to live outside of that. You got to break out of the rip current to make it to shore, right? Step aside. You can still play in the water, just get to the side. Don't get in the rip current. You can still play with the sand. You can still swim out there some, but not in the rip current. It's going to carry you out and you're going to drown. And that's the pyramid. The top of the pyramid are the people way out there drowning. The people who are stepping into the program are the ones who are coming to get insured to step into the rip current, right? So what we have to do is we have to stop taking rewards to be obedient, to salviate like they know we will, and respond to bells, right? Isn't that what Pavlov's experiment showed, that inferior beings respond to a bell? Every hour at school, bring, stand up. Bring, sit down. Oh, here's some candy. We have rewards coming up for whoever's the best speller and the best so-called, and get you fighting, right? Well, we're not even supposed to want that. It's like what we should want is a garden, and to feed the birds, and to having animals and livestock, right? But the thing is you can't control a bunch of independent people who have managerial minds. So I wanted to share this with y'all, and I'm about to run out of time. So I appreciate y'all watching. See you on the next video.